Hey everyone, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Today's video has been a long time coming, but I am proud to finally present the in-depth tour of my new shop, which is probably going on, I don't know, like 3.5 years old now. At the end of the video, I'm also going to give you guys just a quick walkthrough of the old shop so you guys can, kind of see what that looks like nowadays. But yeah, so if you haven't seen any videos on the new shop, I've got the playlist of the build down in the description box below, from the original build to doing the floors, installing the lifts, putting in the doors, and so on and so forth. I guess, a lot has happened in the last 3 years. The shop has undergone a lot of changes from outfitting and upgrading and this and that. And I mean, there's just been a lot of chaos, if I can be perfectly honest. Some good, some bad. There's been a lot of projects coming in and out, and I have been just so spread thin. It is unbelievable. I'm trying to not be like that going forward. So that's why it's taken me so long to film this video. So I'm just really excited to finally show you guys, show you the setup. I also wanted to make mention, those of you who have been subscribed to the channel for a really long time, this will also serve as a personal vehicle / project update video. So long story short, if you don't see a vehicle in this video, I no longer have it. It has been sold. The only vehicle that we do have that is not here is my wife's Mini Countryman, because she's at work right now. So anyway, I'm always long-winded, so without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. You long-term subscribers probably remember the old shop well. It was built in 2018, it's 42 feet by 40 feet, and that's where I started my serious project endeavors. I had started dabbling in my 240SX at our old house, but this shop is where I did that 93 Jimmy restoration series and started working on our Chevelle, which hasn't been touched in a really long time. But after we built our house, finished that at the end of 2020, we were still using these outside bays for storage, and I really, really needed to expand some because, more project opportunities came about, and I was just running out of room with equipment and whatnot, and that's when the big shop kind of came to fruition. I've always wanted to build something like this, and while it was a pretty big endeavor, I don't regret any of it. It has turned out absolutely fantastic. The big shop is a 70 foot or 71 foot by 30 feet, and we wanted to make it look like an old service station. So, the big bay doors, the large windows, the lights above each door, and then the lean-to with a bunch of old gas station memorabilia and the 49 Studebaker sitting underneath there. My wife actually came up with the colors, the black and red two-tone, which has kind of been my thing over the years. And I don't know, I'm so proud, and it's honestly very, very surreal sometimes that I get to work in such an awesome place. But it definitely has not been easy, let me tell you. But long story short, with the new shop, I wanted to have a nice space that was not only comfortable to work in, but one that kind of doubled as a nice video production studio. So anything that I film in there looks really good. I try to keep it as clean as possible, even though there's all sorts of equipment and tools. And, of course, once you start on a project, all that stuff gets kind of blown all over the place. But, yeah, it has just been a wonderful, wonderful space. So I guess since we're out here, I'll go ahead and mention, again, long-term subscribers are not a stranger to this car, the 1948 Ford Super Deluxe. Most of you probably know about my 95 F350. I bought this from my in-laws. Super clean truck, about 104,000 miles, 7.3 Power Stroke, runs amazing. Really, really nice truck. I actually have an in-depth review of this truck and the 48 Ford already on the channel, so if you haven't seen those, check them out. Now as we move on to the lean-to section, Not that long ago, we actually took down an entire row of trees that used to go around that terrace all the way to that tree line right there. We just left that big pin oak, which gave us a wonderful view to the pond that we have on our property. Mind the weeds and all the, not good landscaping. I only have so many hands and I haven't had time to mess with all that stuff yet. But anyway, when you're looking at the lean-to, you can definitely see where we were going with the old service station bot vibe. The only things that I have not done out here that I really would like to do is to pour some custom gas station islands and put a pump or two in between each of these bays, but that stuff's kind of expensive. I got projects to finish first, but got some neat things in here. Poly gas station stuff, Texaco, some old school signs and whatnot. I'll give you guys some clips of the building at night because all of the lights are really, really cool. They cast a nice warm glow over everything. And yeah, anyway, so here's another vehicle update. I haven't posted much about this car. Some of you know about it, but this is a 1949 Studebaker Commander Starlight Coupe. This was kind of a random purchase. I really don't have any concrete plans on bringing it to YouTube, but it's a complete car. I've actually collected a lot of new old stock parts and restoration stuff over the years in the event that I am able to do some kind of build with it. But it's just a really, really cool car, and honestly, I like it more for its artisticness than anything else, because Studebakers had some really, really cool styling back then. So whether I get a chance to build it or not, again, is kind of up in the air. But for now, I've got it sitting on some, old ramps and stuff like that. And that lubester sitting up next to the wall and the gas boy back there. It works with just having a really nice little display piece for the moment. I know this is kind of ugly right now, but I'm going to show it anyway. At some point, once I get the gravel or pavement situation, whatever figured out, this will end up being a nice little sitting area with an umbrella. Come out and eat some lunch or whatever. Enjoy some sounds of nature. Look at the pond. It's just honestly a really, really relaxing area around here. There's some cars and stuff that go by and whatnot, but all in all, it's very peaceful. I have the air compressor sitting out here. This is actually plumbed through the big shop and the older shop, both in our homemade paint room and the main area, so everything's on one system, and it works out really, really nice. Got a big compressor for, when it's time to do any kind of body work or paint work and stuff. Again, ignore this horribleness. I've got a lot of stuff on my list to finish, but you guys have probably already seen the videos that I shot on the new office building. Not too long ago, I bought this shed, completely decked it out inside. This is where my new office and, little entertainment lounge, if you want to call it. But I've got some videos on that. They're in the shop playlist down in the description box below, so I'm not going to bother showing anything with that right now. But I think it's probably a good time to head on inside. I'm sure Veyron the Corgi will be very excited to see us. I almost forgot to mention this little display right here. I'm pretty proud of this because it serves a dual purpose. One, it bridges the gap between the two shops and just looks nice. I have my old hubcap wall and some SK04 lettering that my in-laws gave me, which is pretty cool. But it also doubles as a holding platform for my airline coming out of this shop because, with how everything was routed, I didn't want a big, deep U shape right here because, you could always put a drain valve, but it's more of a chance for water condensation to collect in a valley for the air and with the air system. So it's running across the top, goes straight in there into the filter regulator and stuff, and I'll show you guys all that a little bit later. But yeah, a lot of creative little details all around here. All right, let's head inside. See, Veyron's already at the door waiting for us. Hi, Bubby. Come on, Boot. Come on. This way. Come say hi. Hi, boy. Say hello to the camera. Hi, Bubby. No, in. In. Come on, in. He absolutely loves hanging out in the shop. In the mornings, I'll be like, Bubby, you want to go down to the shop? You want to go to the shop? He's like, I'm confused. I thought we were already in the shop. But he'll find a comfortable place to lay down and just, he likes to hang out with Daddy. So anyway, this is the shop. Like I said, the overall dimensions, 71 inches wide, 30 feet deep, 14 foot high walls, and then, it kind of peaks up from there. So, long story short, this shop about, nickel and dimed me to death. And when I say nickel and diming, I mean like big money. It was pretty scary for a while. But, even with how expensive everything ended up being, I only wanted to do certain things one time, and I learned some lessons in this process. Like, if I could do it over again, I would have gotten some kind of composite garage walls instead of the metal walls, which was difficult to even find somebody wanting to do that, strangely enough. But anyway, obviously when you're hanging stuff in metal walls, you're drilling holes, so it's like, well, I can't really take stuff down unless I can hide the holes with some white duct tape or something. But anyway, hey, at least it looks cool. So on the outside of the shop, we obviously have the black and red two-tone. On the inside, to keep everything looking nice and clean, especially for lighting and video, we did a two-tone white and black. So as you can see, the majority of the walls are white, and then we've got the black strip underneath. The entire building has closed cell foam spray insulation behind the walls, and you can see it in the ceiling. Now, the ceiling I had painted after the fact because that closed cell foam is like a yellow color, and then if it gets UV exposure and stuff, it turns like a really ugly, like mustard brown color. So I wanted to make sure that didn't happen. So I had somebody come in and spray the entire roof, all the trusses and everything, in flat black. And I think it offers up a fantastic contrast in here and just adds to the overall cleanliness. So these doors right now are manual. I'd like to put on some, I think they call them like jack shaft motors. They go up on like the side right here instead of your traditional, like, whatever you call that thing where the motor's right there and the linkage is right there and whatever. So one day, carve out some budget, put some power motors on these doors. That'll make things a lot simpler. But I love these doors. Absolutely love them. They have that old school service center vibe. They are insulated, but of course, they do let in heat. You can, especially if you're working earlier in the morning in this area, you can really feel those UV rays coming in. And the other downside is, like, as you can see from filming this, when I'm filming in here, the lighting looks really, really good, but then the camera tries to like compensate for how bright it is out there. So depending on the time of day, whether it's cloudy and whatnot, I have to kind of plan my filming ahead, so to speak. But, just little things you got to work around. But the looks of it and how everything turned out overweighs the minor inconvenience. So let's see. I guess let's go ahead and talk about the floor too. So the floor is an epoxy floor, but it's called polyaspartic. I had it put down by a company called Garage Kings. It's more expensive than a traditional epoxy, but it's supposed to be a lot more forgiving for shop use. So like if you drag a piece of metal across the floor or something like that, or if you drop something, it'll be far, far less prone to, you know, chip or something like that. And all in all, it's held up pretty good. There's some few little defects and stuff here and there. But yeah, I love it. It's, you probably can't even see it, but it's got black, red, gray, white chips all in there, so it incorporates all of the colors of the shop into the floor. And when people come in, that's really the first thing that they comment on, like, man, those floors are super cool. And I'm like, I know, right? Honestly, the biggest downside of them is if you drop a screw or a bolt on the ground, it's basically gone. It is so hard to find, and you know, with all of these chips and stuff everywhere, I've got this big magnet roller that I can go across the ground and make sure I get everything, but more often than not, I'm getting on the floor, laying down, and like trying to run my hand across and stuff. It's like, again, there are pros and cons with everything. So I guess since I've been focused on this side of the shop this whole time, I'll just continue this way and then work my way back the other way. So like I said, that air compressor out there feeds this shop and the old shop. There's a hose reel up there, another hose reel up there, and then there's a filter regulator on the side over there where the main air line comes in. So can regulate the air, higher pressure, lower pressure, drain the valve right there to help keep condensation down. And it's really nice. I think they're 50-foot reels if I remember correctly. So plenty of room to access everything that needs air. Over here, we have my 2015 Fiat 500 Abarth. It has about 26,000 miles on it now. This is my daily driver when I'm not driving press vehicles, and it's a wonderful little car. I've done a bunch of little mod videos and stuff on it you can check out on YouTube. But these cars, I really do believe they are just so underrated, and for what for what you can buy them for, I don't know that you can buy more smiles for what this thing is able to deliver. But anyway, wonderful, wonderful car. This is our 1962 GMC C1000. I do have a playlist for this truck on the channel, but the video series kind of fell apart. I uploaded a video probably, I don't know, 2-3 months or so ago with my friend Andy, who painted the truck, basically just talking about the issues we faced and the delays and why I ended up not filming, most of the project. But I do have some project stuff coming out on this. I had a little bit of downtime where I was waiting on some parts for the 240SX. So another one of my friends who happened to have time off some off of work, I was like, hey man, you want to come over and hang out for the weekend or for the day, and we'll install the air conditioning system? So that's exactly what we did. Got the vintage air system installed. I'm actually in the process of building a custom intake, but this truck is really, really cool because I started this as a sponsor series with AC Delco and GM Genuine Parts, and my idea was to build a resto mod using mainly factory parts, and to make that easier, I actually frame swapped it. So the cab forward is original GMC, but it's got a 74 short bed frame underneath it. So I ended up buying a whole new bed kit. The truck was a step side, but it was a long bed. Now it's a short bed step side, and I'm really, really proud of it. Even with all of the headaches that it has given me, I'm super, super bummed that I was never able to give you guys a really, really good series out of it, but it is what it is. Some things are just out of your control, and you just gotta roll with the punches and go forward. It's not going to get finished unless you just work on it, so that was the plan. And not to focus on it too much, but just want to show you guys the inside. So I do have a video of installing the vintage air system coming. I'm not sure when yet, but it is coming soon. So you guys will at least get to see some work being performed on this truck, but it is just, it's awesome. Love it. Still got to adjust that door some more, but anyway, okay, let me back up some. I'm trying to do this all in one take, so please forgive some of my camera angles. Working our way this way. So here, I still haven't posted this yet. This is the S10's old motor. So you guys remember the 89 S10 extended cab resto mod that I built? Had a 5.3 built for it, had a catastrophic lifter failure. We ended up taking our 6-liter LQ4 that we had for another project to put in that truck to fix it. That truck has been sold. Obviously, it's not here, so again, doing the project updates. But I got the motor back from the machine shop. A lot of new internals, obviously new lifters, higher quality lifters, and I've just been working on, chipping away at putting it back together on my run stand. I'm not sure if I'll film a video of starting it up or not. Probably not. This is just more for fun at this point, but taking a lot of the LS parts that I've had sitting on a shelf for a long time and putting them to good use on this motor. Soon I'll get it all wired up, and I'm not sure if I'll end up selling this motor or holding on to it for a future build, whether it be the Studebaker or something else. But I mean, golly, with how expensive car parts and stuff have gotten lately, let alone crate engines, it probably could be kind of dumb to sell it, to be honest. But I've also got the Blueprint Engines 396 cubic inch small block tucked away safe and sound here. That right there is a wicked motor. I do have a video of getting that running for the first time on this stand, so that's a really fun video. You definitely want to check that out. But the 6-liter LQ4 that we borrowed to fix the S10 was the motor I had reserved for Crystal's Chevelle. So we still have the 4L80E that was supposed to go to that motor. And I think I'm letting her decide what she wants to do. We may end up putting the 396 and the 4L80 in the Chevelle. It'll be even more period correct, but this motor makes over 500 horsepower. It's going to be absolutely gnarly. So anyway, when that time comes to start working on that car again, which will most likely be in 2025 at this rate, I think the wait is going to be worth it, and we'll be able to do, or me and Andy, or me and whoever wants to help me work on this Chevelle, I think we're going to make it, gosh, what am I trying to say? We're going to do it proper justice. That's a good word. So anyway, moving on. Got my collection of Scott shop towels. I have various collections around the shop because I make a lot of messes. Rags for every occasion. So I've got a stack there. I've got a stack on the other side of the shop, and I've got a stack two stacks in the old shop. Anyway, so these are just storage cabinets, various materials and oil supplies and stuff. This is the bench seat that's going to go in this 62. Oh yeah, you can see it from the back. Just look how sexy that thing is. Gotta love a nicely well-sorted classic truck. I apologize with some of the angles coming up because it's a little tight walking through here just because I have too much stuff. First aid kit, gotta have that. Washer and dryer maybe can be hooked up one day when I actually am able to get water plumbed to this shop. Let's see, I'm not gonna walk all through there, but along that side, I've got my bolt bin, which is an absolute necessity if you're restoring cars, and you never always have the right bolts, but that's a really good way to start. Get yourself a bolt bin. Got all my AN fittings and clamps and stuff on that shelf. This is my drill cabinet, so anything drill related goes in there. Found that cool S chassis for the sign for the 240SX. GMC sign up there. And I know not everybody's a fan of the EV stuff, but it is a significant part of the automotive market nowadays, and I do get a lot of EV press vehicles. So a while back, I had a wall station installed so I can conveniently charge things from the shop and not have to go anywhere, and it's been really nice. Yeah, there's a lot of neat things going on in here. But now that we're in this corner, you can get a better view of the shop as a whole. If I could have rebuilt this shop at a slightly different way, I probably would have made it 10 feet deeper. So 40 feet deep instead of 30 feet deep, which would have required me to get like engineered steel trusses and stuff like that. More heavy duty than the ones used for these typical metal buildings. But it is what it is. I'm not complaining whatsoever. This is an absolutely wonderful space, and I am so very blessed to, again, be able to work in it and enjoy it. It is without a doubt a dream come true. And I may complain about things. I may hate working on vehicles, in certain instances and stuff, because any car enthusiast, I don't care how much you like cars, you're going to get burned out. I've been burned out for a while. Working on the 240SX has honestly been my therapy because I've been wanting to work on that for such a long time. But at the end of the day, just remember to take a break, take a step back, take a deep breath, and just count your blessings. Just count your blessings, and it will right the ship of negativity. you got to get rid of that negativity. So anyway, clean workbench for a change. Got my pictures of my papa. He passed away back in 2019, but absolutely legendary guy. Moving along. Continuing with the old memorabilia stuff. I've got a old school Firestone tire here that has, the pie crust design. That's kind of fun. I had an extra Ford hubcap laying around. This is my umbrella at the shop. Can't really see it, but this is an original Saab, what's it called? Oh my gosh, umbrella. An old Saab umbrella, which, Saab Kylo 4, it fits. These headers are for the 396. That's a little memory from my time I had a chance to film the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. If you haven't seen that video, you have to check that out after this one. That was so much fun. But anyway, so pretty much all of my shop equipment is bin pack. I've just recently had this one installed. It's a Grand Prix 4-post lift. I've got a 10,000 pound heavy duty 2-post bin pack lift right there. And then, brace the twisting, that bin pack 4-post lift over there. That one's a different series. I think it was the HD 9XL. Just a bit of a different design from the Grand Prix. But as you can see, the shelves are full. The shelves are always full. Fortunately, the shelves have been getting cleaned out and reorganized. Most of them were taken up by 240 parts, but because Andy and I, my friend Andy that you guys have seen a little bit here and there, we have been working on the 240SX a lot. I am so proud of how far this has come in such a short amount of time. And obviously you can't see much of it because he's been prepping parts over in the paint area. But I've been tinkering on things to, make the car better, undo things that I wasn't thrilled with to begin with. I've got a new catch can in there. I've reorganized a lot of lines, cleaned things up, added extra grommets where they needed to be, fixed my core support, strengthened the front end. I've done all sorts of stuff. Not too long ago, I actually just uploaded a video on this. Pulled the entire exhaust system out because the coating that I originally did for all the hot parts had failed, so I'm about to take everything over to Jet Hot and have a really good proper coating applied to these, so that's why those are laying on the floor. But anyway, RB25 swapped, 89 Nissan 240SX. I've had little projects and stuff over the years, like way back in the day, but this was the first car that I really cut my teeth on when it came to mechanical type stuff. And while it has taken me off and on about 8 years to see this car to completion, the time is well worth it because I didn't know what I was doing in the beginning. There's no way I could have built this car with the knowledge that I had. So in working on all of the other different projects over the years that has given me the experience and the confidence to basically tackle pretty much anything outside of body and paint. And that's where my friend Andy comes in. So you guys will see more regular content on the 240. You know, I'm not milking this out or anything. I want the car done, hopefully by fall. So you guys will just see some really cool content as part of finishing the build. So anyway, just another quick glance of my messy shelves, my massive supply of duplicolor paint right there. Just recently got some new floor jacks from BenPack. And I will say, I work with a lot of wonderful, wonderful sponsors that help support what I do with these builds. And a lot of them, you can see, you know, just the banners across the walls. Second Skin Automotive Insulation, Holly, BenPack, just all sorts of people. I'm probably missing some stuff. But anyway, trying to keep my thoughts in order here. Again, more memorabilia stuff. Some things just old and cool, some things just some shows that I've been to and whatnot. This is where my desk used to be. Now it is in the new office building because the new lift, I couldn't do it. So before I talk about these cars, let me just walk through here. This is my 1,000,000 subscriber play button. I think I got that back in like 2020 or so. Unfortunately, the glue was separated off of the backing one time, and it actually fell on top of my desk, knocked the computer on the floor and everything. It was an absolute mess. So I've got some pretty deep scratches, and I don't know what that is, Lexan glass. I mean, I think if it was glass, it would have broken, but I got to have that redone someday. But this is the 100,000 subscribers that I got way, way back in the day. There's an advertisement for my first car, which 1997 Saab 900 Turbo Convertible. That's where the name Saab Kyle 04 came from, because my first car was a Saab that I got in 2004. I got to relive those memories a little bit when I rebought my first car. I did some videos on that. It wasn't the actual car. It was cosmetically identical, and I had that funny plate put on the front because that car absolutely raked me over the coals. And I've got the keys from it, Saab keys. Just little fun stuff. Some other memorabilia stuff where I was featured in Car and Driver magazine a bunch of years ago now. But yeah, some lift equipment, cool display cabinet. This has a lot of memory stuff in it. Shows and press events that I've been to. Bunch of old oil cans. I like that a lot. Yeah, file cabinet. Got another workbench. Typical. It's completely full, but it's full of 240. Word salad. It's full of 240 parts. So as you can see, 240 is being worked on. I've got these really cool go-kart hydraulic wheel skates. I call them skates, but these you can order them from BenPack. They basically cradle your wheel. You can pump them up, brings the wheel up, so you can more easily push immovable vehicles without, you know, fighting a steering wheel and all that kind of stuff. So that has been an invaluable tool around the shop. So as you can see on this table, I have a bunch of turbo stuff, cooling stuff. I'm just basically redoing lines and fittings and, again, stuff that I just wasn't thrilled with. So I'm making the routing of stuff more efficient, more clean, and it's going to work out really, really nice. There's a little coffee station in here. I've got one in the office, but, you know, you never know when you might need a good hot cup of joe. Sticker bombed toolbox. This thing has been wonderful. Got the little supplement with it, and there's other tools spread around the shop as well, just where things are needed the most. That little cabinet underneath that workbench is my electrical supplies, so extra wiring and, extra wiring tools and all that kind of stuff. Keeps that nice and organized. Found that thing a long time ago, which is pretty fun. It's an electronic wheel balancer. Never seen one of these. It doesn't work. What you think, boy? What you think? You want to make it work? He says no. But Here is 240 AC stuff. So I have ordered a whole bunch of universal stuff that I'm going to adapt to use with my new old stock Skyline compressor for the RB25. And I'm going to build my own custom AC system because my Haltech ECU will control like idle kick and stuff like that. So I'm about to start working on that, just waiting on a few more parts. Very, very excited to see what I can make work. My wife made this for me a long time ago, just with all sorts of memory pictures over the years. It's always fun just to take a minute and, oh my gosh, I gotta stop tripping over this exhaust. It's fun to look at that and reminisce over all those cool times. Yeah, just various cabinets. Going around the 240, more stuff just propped everywhere, more toolbox with different stuff. But yeah, the 240's really, really coming along. You obviously always want things to go a little bit faster, but, sometimes you just have to be really patient because things are not on your timeline. They will happen when they're supposed to happen, and usually they'll happen when you are best ready for it, instead of you trying to rush everything and getting frustrated and whatnot. Just trust the plan. It always works out. This is our 1956 Ford Thunderbird. It is a beautiful, beautiful car. It needs a little bit of rust repair in the lower quarters and rockers, but we bought this from the estate of the original owner. You haven't seen this car in a while because it lost brakes, not sure why, and the choke was messing up on it, so it wasn't running right on cold starts, and I just got tired of moving and fiddling with it. So it is in here in a nice climate-controlled environment, so not too worried about it. Plus, obviously it looks really, really cool, so I enjoy looking at it. So it will be a future project or something someday. I don't really know. But anyway, this honestly is what's bothered me the most. This is our 1969 Chevrolet Chevelle Malibu. It was my wife's grandmother's car that she inherited, and the project started off great. I had somebody helping me with it, and we kind of got stiffed on the deal. Long story short, don't really want to get into it, but it needs a little bit more metal work, nothing that I can't tackle myself, but I just wish this car was a lot further than it was. But again, everything happens for a reason. I obviously was not meant to work on that car at that time, but at least, again, it's in a nice, safe environment. This BenPack Grand Prix lift definitely has come in handy for the extra storage in here, but yeah, when the time comes, I've got all the parts ready. Just got to get to work. So anyway, what am I forgetting in here? We've got the 240, got a bunch of parts. Get a little aerial view. I've got 3 big fans up there and 3 mini split AC and heat systems. Honestly, they work so good, it can run off of 2. But especially in those 90 some odd, 100-degree days, it really helps a lot. But anyway, I'm going to take a little break because my hand's falling asleep, and I'll see if I'm forgetting anything. You Bubby, you getting yourself some water? Good boy. If you've made it this far in the video, thank you so much. I do want to make mention, I tried to be as stable with the camera as possible, but some of it just may be a little bit shaky. I noticed I didn't have the right image stabilization setting on my camera. I've got it on this dynamic setting now, so we'll see if it's just a bit smoother, just so, I think all the clips turned out okay, but it could be even better, especially with these walking shots. So anyway, let me close this video out, I suppose, with just a quick walkthrough of the old shop. It is really hot in here. It's not air conditioned like the big shop, so try to make this quick. I do have a whole bunch of new lights in here. I've redone all of the wiring and whatnot, but I had an unexpected failure in one of my new bulbs, so I've got everything kind of hooked up temporarily. I've also got lights running across the bottom so you can make sure to see the bottom edges of the car. I've got the new lights already. I just have to put them in, so when I start filming 240 content in here, it should be super bright, super crisp. But anyway, as you can see, there is a variety of 240 parts already in here, some of which are pretty much ready for paint. Some of them need a little bit more work, like the rear bumper here. It must have been hit at some point, so it had some defects in the plastic, so Andy's been working on like plastic welding, doing some light filler work and stuff, and it's turning out really nice. But, you know, that's the thing with working old parts. Sometimes you just gotta get a little bit creative. It's not like you can buy some of this stuff brand new anymore. He's already got the trunk lid finished up. As you guys saw, well, probably saw in that 240 video, I welded up all of the old spoiler holes and deleted the rear wiper just for a cleaner look. Those holes are for the Type X wing, but Andy's got that looking really, really good. All of the black that you see is black epoxy primer, and that's the base on which we're building everything else off of. The car is going to end up having black primer too, just to give that midnight blue pearl a very deep look. I think it's going to look really, really cool. But anyway, there's not a whole lot to see. There's some body kit pieces there. You know, the rear valence, some kit extensions, supply cabinet, various stuff. Andy's probably going to be mad at me because he wasn't able to clean this up beforehand, but this is a working man's space. It's all good. Also, a big shout out to both TransStar and Klingspor. They're sponsoring the completion of the 240 by providing us, you know, Klingspor is all the dry stuff, the sanding and all that kind of stuff. Klingspor or TransStar is the wet stuff, so all the paint and primer and whatnot. Got the paint right here and just primers and all that kind of stuff. So anyway, it's not pretty, but it absolutely works. I think the 240 is going to turn out really, really nice in here. And again, I just outfitted this with a bunch of old roofing materials to close everything up in here. I mean, it's not the best to have this like corrugated type metal in a paint booth just because of the surface area. I mean, you just have to do a little bit of extra cleaning, but doing something on a budget, I'm pretty happy with it. You can see right there, or probably over there, where the air line comes in from the other shop. There's a filter dryer regulator right there, and then it runs into that hose reel, which runs into the middle bay. So the middle bay is where all of my old project stuff was filmed. So we'll just come on in here. There's a whole heaping load of 240 parts. Had a window put in here not too long ago, or maybe a year or so ago, just for extra ventilation. But yeah, this is it. It's kind of messy, but that's the purpose of this shop, for all the dirty work and whatnot. Got my welding table right there. Welder. Got another BenPack Grand Prix 2-post lift in here, which worked out really nice because my ceiling height isn't too tall, or isn't as high as the other shop. Various storage cabinets. Cool stoplight over there I can turn on. Got my oxyacetylene set up. Nice little tool roll cart. Y'all ever heard of the law of flat surfaces? Anytime you have a flat surface, ends up being a catch-all for everything. Oh, that's pretty much the case around here. Every flat surface becomes a catch-all, especially over here. Drill press, shop press. Use that quite a lot for doing like suspension bushings and stuff. And then another workbench full of stuff. But it's a mix of trying to figure out a custom glove box for the GMC and some various 240 parts I'm trying to keep organized. And yet another Scott towel station. I'm not kidding. There's a lot of messes around here. But anyway, nothing special, but a really nice space to work with. it just gets really, really hot in here. So it's very hard to work in here in peak summer unless you have all the doors and windows open and some major fans going, just because this shop was very much built on a budget. There is no insulation, which, you know, not everybody has insulation. It's all good. Yeah, I love this shop. This is where everything started, and it migrated over to the big shop. So it's still fun to work in here. I prefer working in here in the wintertime. I have this big old kerosene heater. I'll come in, and that sucker will heat this area up in no time, so it can be a whole lot more comfortable. But anyway, that's the old shop. Oh, in case anybody was wondering too, the right side, or left side if you're looking at it from the outside, this is just storage. Over there, it's got equipment, parts, oil, all that kind of stuff. It's not worth shooting. So anyway, we're out. Would you all just look at this good boy? Bubby, what are you doing? You found the one comfortable spot? You like the couch? What do you think about the couch, boy? Say hi. Hello, Bubby. He's like, what are you doing? Stop being weird. Get that camera off of me. I'm trying to go night. Well, everyone, that's pretty much it for the tour. But before I close the video out, let me guys show you what this place looks like at night. So here's everything with the lights turned on. We've got a floodlight on this corner, and there's another one on the far corner to illuminate the office area and out into that field. So if I'm working in the office late one night, I don't get surprised by some animal coming out of the woods. But this is where you can really get a good idea of what we were going for with the old school service station vibe. I love how those lights cast that triangular, pattern of light across the doors. And then I just recently, when I got the office wired up and had that floodlight installed, I had 2 more lights put underneath the lean-to, so it casts a nice glow over the Studebaker at night. Come on a little closer. I've got one more kind of hoop hanging light, whatever you want to call that, gooseneck light or whatever, over the main door. I just really, really like how all that looks in there. Pretty cool. And I'll just get one more pan shot from this corner, seeing the Studebaker from the side. Puts out a lot of light. Well, everyone, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Please don't forget to leave a like down below because it really helps the videos a lot. And if you haven't subscribed already, of course, consider doing that too, and make sure those notifications are turned on. There's plenty of project content and car reviews on the way. I'll see you guys on the next one. Take care.